Hello, welcome back. I'm out today on a very last minute hike out in the Bluestack Mountains. I feel like I'm following the footsteps of a giant today because when I found this route on mountainviews.ie last night, I realised that it's a route from almost 10 years ago now, 10 years ago next month, completed and uploaded by Gerry McVeigh. So if you've watched Gerry's videos, there's a good chance you can see exactly what I'm about to do today, and I'm sure Gerry's done it much more professionally and spectacularly than I did. But anyway, it just gave me a wee giggle to see his name propping up. So as I said, it's a bit of a last minute hike. I was supposed to be up on Donegal Mountain in Glenveigh today with the walking club, but the walk was cancelled late last night due to concerns about the yellow weather warning for thunderstorms. So what the hell am I doing out then? But anyway, I think it was a bit of an overly cautious decision, but I can understand when you're taking a group of people out, you have responsibility for their safety. So that's very, very important. So all morning I've been watching the weather forecast, and it looks like the thunderstorms are going to skirt away from us and not really come inland until tonight. So I've decided to head out for a walk today. I figured I made that decision, that's a personal decision, but I've made that decision that it's safe enough to head on. Needless to say, I'm fully equipped that if the weather does turn nasty, I'll be able to get down off the hill pretty quickly, and I have wet gear and bad weather gear with me that will keep me safe. So the walk today, Gerry very poetically termed it the baby Bluestacks, and it is a bit like that. It started at the old Reeling Schoolhouse where a lot of the central Bluestacks walks start, but instead of heading south across the river and up into the higher peaks of the Bluestacks, it follows the track down and turns north up into a few smaller peaks. So the walk is 11k in total and takes in 4 of the smaller peaks of the Bluestacks, which will give me a nice decent walk today, and will also tick 4 peaks off my local 100 list as well, which I'm slowly but steadily chipping away at. But anyway, can't believe how out of breath I am. I'm got really unfit this last while for some reason, or I'm starting to feel very unfit. But anyway, it's incredibly warm today as well. So we've just come off a week of very, very high temperatures. It was up at 28 degrees yesterday afternoon. I think the last 2 days have both been the 2 warmest days on record in Ireland, reaching temperatures over 30 degrees in the Midlands. So it's been pretty intense. So a period of a day of thunderstorms would do no harm, and probably long overdue. And by the middle of next week, when it's back to 16 degrees, we'll be complaining about it being cold again. But I'm going to make the most of it today anyway, and thank you for coming along with me. Quite a few very old ruined houses around here. Seen evidence of them driving down. I suppose you have the Reeling Schoolhouse where I'm parked, it's a perfect example. And there's that old ruined house that I just showed you there on video. Makes me quite sad to see those. I know it would have been a tough life living out here and you can't romanticise it too much, but that was a family home at one stage. You know, you have the existing fireplace there where the family would have gathered around on cold winter nights or in evenings and had their evening meals and their morning meals together. And you just wonder about the history behind that house and how it ended up being abandoned. Two very dark periods in local history around here would have been, well, one of them was a very dark period in all of Irish history, was the famine, which everybody's very much aware of. And hundreds and thousands of families would have left their homes and abandoned their homes in search of support and food that was totally non-existent and never came, and so many of them starved in workhouses and along the sides of roads. But another more local dark period would have been the cleansing and the evictions that happened in Donegal, and especially in the Glenveigh area, but quite possibly around this area as well, where British landlords would have come in, bought up all the land and evicted the people from their homes and off their tenant farms to make way for sheep grazing. Absolutely horrendous period in Donegal's history, and one which doesn't seem to get much talk about. It just makes you wonder, was that house given up and abandoned by choice, or were the people forced off the land by famine or greed? Quite sobering. Bit of a serious start to my video, but just something about that house struck me today. This is tough. Real tight climb up the side of the first hill here. I suppose the only advantage of it being so steep excuse me, the only advantage of it being so steep is that you very quickly gain elevation, but the heat is an absolute killer today. Shirt's absolutely sticking to me. I'm sticking a sweat already, and I'm only what 3 kilometers and 55 minutes into my walk. But from what I can tell, once I get up onto the top here, it's a very straightforward walk over to the summit point, which is unmarked, and then I don't lose much elevation until I'm ready to head back down towards the track and back to the van again. I'll try and give you a wee impression of what the hillside's like here, but I don't know how well it'll come out in camera. But it's time to keep going. I know, out of breath and all, so I'm not going to get any better before I get to the top. So at least every now and again I get a little bit of a breeze comes puffing along, kills me down a wee bit. One thing which is beautiful actually walking up here, I should say as well, is I'm absolutely surrounded by little tiny butterflies. I saw them before when I was down at Loch Alton as well. They're a tiny little white butterfly, so I don't know if they're particularly unique to bogland areas or what, but they're flitting around here all over the place. Quite nice to be walking through clouds of them. They're really tiny though, so I don't think I can get them on camera, because every time I stop they stop. They only seem to fly up in the air whenever I'm coming walking along. So anyway, I'll try and show you this hillside here. That finally reached the top. That last couple of 100 meters of walking was pretty tough. The slope was unreal for that last bit. At one stage I felt like I was almost nearly scrambling, but I made it. Getting bit here by clags, so I'm not going to sit and I'm really enjoying sitting here, but the sun's just come out just before I reach the top of the hill. But I don't fancy sitting here and getting bit for much longer, so as well as that, if I sit here I'll get too lazy. The views are amazing. I've done a 360 there, so hopefully it comes out in the camera and you can see it properly, but no, the views are amazing. It's more than worth just the climb up to here. It's a really difficult to pronounce little summit. I'm gonna have to look it up on my phone again. Crovine Ananta. According to mountainviews.ie, according to the track that Gerry uploaded, it says 476 meters. My watch is saying 528 meters, so I'm assuming the elevation on my watch isn't just 100% accurate, but it was tight walking anyway, so a real sense of achievement to reach the top, but absolutely roasted with the heat. So I think now, as the rest of the walk, I don't lose much altitude, so it shouldn't be so much steep climbing for the rest of it, so I just get to enjoy the views, because I'm kind of on a bit of a ridge now, looking north and south, and south into the Bluestacks, and north I'm pretty sure towards the Gerry McVeigh Mountains. But there's just hills all around here, and the day's just absolutely perfect to enjoy it. So gonna walk along the ridge to the other 3 summits before finishing up back down where I started. So not hungry yet for lunch, so I'm gonna keep going, maybe get across excuse me, maybe get across to the second summit and then stop for a bite to eat. But it's nearly too good not to sit here for ages. But I can't be too tempted to do that, so I need to get up and go on. But the views are great. It's lovely, beautiful. So got up and over the second summit, which is La Croc, I think is how you pronounce it. My pronunciations aren't very good today. We're in the middle of the Gaeltacht area here, and everything has a very Irish name, and my Irish is despicable. My only excuse is my French is worse. So I didn't film summiting the second hill there because, well, it was fairly nondescript, to be honest. I was wrong about keeping the elevation as well. Very wrong, actually. This is what happens when you decide to go on a walk last minute and don't look at the route properly. But I lost quite a lot of elevation from the first summit, dropping down into a wee boggy area and then climbing reasonably gently up to La Croc. And then the top of it was quite boggy as well. And my favourite friend, the Midge, was out in action up there, so I didn't hang around, and I definitely wasn't doing any walking past the camera filming up there. Didn't bother with a 360 either, because the view's pretty much the same as what it was on the last one. But looking across here now at another quite significant drop in elevation, and then a bit of a steeper climb up to the third summit. It looks a bit more interesting. At least it's got a little bit of a peak on top of it, and according to Gerry's route description, it's got a cairn on the top to mark it as well, so at least the summit will be easy to find. I can see it from here, I think, anyway. I'll give you a wee spin around of the view there in a wee second and just show you what's in front of me. The ground I'm quite lucky with today, especially considering I decided to risk it and bring my summer boots, which are non-waterproof. And I also managed to forget my gaiters as well, so I decided just to plough on without them. And thankfully, although the ground's a wee bit damp in places, it's not boggy, which, looking at how dried out it is, it would be very wet and very, very heavy going here after a spell of rain. But as I say, after over a week of hardly any rain and quite high temperatures. The ground's dried out quite a lot. I have clattered myself in Skin So Soft to try and keep away the midges, but it looks like they found me again despite that. So I'm going to mosey on, and God knows where. I'm going to get a chance to stop for my lunch. Might just have to eat in the hoof. But I have invested in a midge net for my head at least, so if they get really bothersome, I'm going to stick that on. That'll keep the wee buggers away. There's a wee bit of a breeze keeps coming up every now and again, which is just enough to keep me cool as well, which is nice. But anyway, onwards and definitely downwards and then upwards. I'll show you what the bit looks like ahead of me. So, despite my misgivings earlier in the walk, I don't think I said anything on camera, but I had really real strong doubts whether I was going to make that round the whole way or not. The climbing's been a lot more difficult, or there's been a lot more of the climbing than I expected, and the ground was quite heavy going, quite rough going at times, and the heat has been just intense. Very claustrophobic, very clammy. Not much sun today, which is probably a good thing, because, well, it might have made the air a wee bit drier, but I just think any kind of intense heat from the sun would just make that even more difficult. but Gerry describes it as not a difficult walk, but a walk with nice views. I wonder, does he mean not difficult navigation and terrain wise, or not difficult fitness wise? But I have a feeling an old mountain goat like Gerry's probably a lot fitter than me. But I'm now picking my way through the wet, obviously. Now picking my way eastwards along the edge of the hill, just off the summit of the last summit. Again, I'm not even going to try and pronounce the names of it, but I'll put all the names up on the screen later on when I'm editing the video. So all I have to do now is gradually work my way down the side of the hill, and then pick up the track that I walked in along, and then that takes me about a kilometre or a kilometre and a half back to the van where I parked at the old schoolhouse. I've 8.5 kilometres done. I figure I'll be slightly over the 11 by the time we get back with it, and I'm not sure how that's happened, but we'll see how it goes. But tough walk, but an enjoyable walk so far, and I'm just looking forward now just to getting back to the van, taking my boots off, and getting home for a cold drink of water and a cup of tea without my jizz floating in it. So yeah, thanks for the walk, Gerry. Really good track. Despite my complaining about it being tough, it's a really good walk, and I'm in a part of the Bluestack Mountains that I probably wouldn't have come to otherwise, and there's at least one or two of those little hills I definitely wouldn't have been up without you. And fantastic views around to the higher Bluestacks that I hope to visit either later on this year or early into next year. So they look absolutely gorgeous and not as intimidating as I thought they would. Very inviting actually, so looking forward to doing that. But anyway, I still need to get back to the van. Still a few kilometres left to do, and yeah, just get walking again. I can feel my legs starting to ache when I stop, so I can't stop. I need to keep going now. That is just amazing. That wee rowan tree, or mountain ash, is literally growing out of a crack in that rock. Doesn't look the healthiest, but it's getting enough sustenance and enough life-giving force from the sun and the environment to produce wee berries. I think that's just so amazing there. Power of nature at work. Another old ruined homestead just behind me. This one seems to have got some fairly recent use at least. There's evidence of some kind of farming activity. The guy that probably owns some of the sheep land around here probably uses it for storing materials and stuff. But I know I got quite morbid earlier on about these old buildings, but Jesus, that was just a fantastic place there to buy and do up and renovate and make it into a wee cottage. What an absolutely idyllic place to live. I'm sure it's not much fun in the winter time, but by God, it's absolutely beautiful here now at the moment. I'm going to spin you around and just show you what the view from where I'm standing would be. And this would be the view from the front door of the house as well, pretty much. That's the walk pretty much done then. Back on the track here again now, so it's fairly straightforward. Just straight back to the old schoolhouse, back to the van again, and then off home. It's been really good. Hasn't been easy, as I said earlier on. It's been quite tough in places, and mentally I found it a bit tough going at times too. Just struggling with the conditions and getting my head around the fact that not to pull out. Although, to be honest, I'm not convinced that if I had pulled out that it would have been any easier getting back to the van rather than just going straight on anyway, because God knows what kind of terrain I'd have been coming across then. At least by heading on I knew exactly where I was going. I had a track to follow and I knew where I was. So as I say, just to walk back to the van now. Legs are tired, good sign of a good walk. And yeah, I'm not sure what this video is going to be like. I couldn't do much filming on the hill. It was too hot and bothered. It was the most oppressive heat I've ever walked in. I've never felt humidity like it. God knows what it must be like living somewhere like Florida or the other southern states of America. It must be mad. But anyway, it's done now. As I said, I don't know what kind of footage I'm going to have got from it. As I say, I couldn't do much B-roll kind of stuff because just stopping and going back and up and down, it was just too much for me. I really probably would have given up at that stage if I had started trying to do any of that. And then add in my favourite little flying insects, and there wasn't much chance to be doing stuff like that. So anyway, I'll put together what I can. It'll probably be quite short, I'd say, although every time I've said that before it's ended up being nearly half an hour long. But anyway, so if I do make some kind of video out of this, I'll just say thank you for coming along. And I do appreciate people that watch this. It's a bit rare, or it feels a bit strange to me, that people watch my videos and enjoy them just as much as I watch other people's and enjoy theirs. But it's a wonderful world that we live in, the world of YouTube and Instagram and the internet. So so once again, I say thank you to everybody that's watched any of my videos, and particularly thank you to people that have watched this one. Back again. The funny thing happened to me just as I was leaving the van and starting my walk. When I pulled up to park, there was a couple parked up in a lovely big black van converted into a camper van. I was very jealous of that anyway. That goes without saying, but anyway, they're a couple from Dublin, here in Donegal for a holiday. The famous staycations that have been created by COVID. And they're obviously still around, but they were just talking to me about what they'd been doing yesterday. They spent the whole day yesterday up in the higher peaks of the Bluestacks, and walked about 20k altogether. Lovely couple, very nice to talk to. The reason I'm talking about them is it got a wee bit embarrassing. Well, embarrassing for me, not for them. They were asking me where I was going, just out of general interest, and I was telling them, and I was explaining to them that I got the track off Mountain Views. And then the guy was asking me then, just, do I comment much and do I log my walks and stuff, and he wanted to know my username so he could look them up. And then I was just more general chit chat, and I happened to mention about having the GoPro with me and stuff like that. He said, "Oh, you must have a YouTube channel." So yeah, I did. And that's where it got embarrassing. It just felt weird. I felt like I was a bit of an oddball, but I hope I'm not. I probably am, but I hope I'm not. But yeah, it was a wee bit strange. It must be what famous people feel like whenever they get recognised. I used to have a wee bit of notoriety once upon a time whenever I was a geocaching reviewer, but that kind of gradually grew up over time, and a lot of the guys I knew anyway before I became a reviewer, and reviewers aren't treated in the same kind of celebrity status here in Ireland as they are in England and America, or used to be anyway. But this was a wee bit strange. So listen, the guys said that they would subscribe to my channel, and they were saying, oh, hopefully you do put up a video of your walk today. So this is the video of the walk today. And I'm sorry guys, I didn't get your name. I was just quite embarrassed and shy, so apologies for not getting your name. Maybe you can drop a wee comment if you have subscribed and let me know your names. And it was nice meeting you. You're lovely people, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of your stay in Donegal. Not sure how much longer you were about for. But anyway, that's me definitely signing off now for this video. I've no idea how long I have to walk back along this track, so hopefully it's not too much further. But again, thanks for watching everybody, and I'll see you in the next one.